Welcome everyone and good morning to you all to our webinar on the Green Enterprise Innovation for Circular Economy. My name is Anne-Marie Donlan. I look after the Green Enterprise Programme within the EPA, and this is our first webinar, so I hope you'll find it useful and I very much welcome your feedback. To begin, just to say it's a webinar format, so it's a one-way communication. I will speak through. I am recording the webinar and all your mics have been put on mute. What I'll cover in this webinar is we'll touch on the National Waste Prevention Programme, the circular economy in general, and then most of the presentation will be around our funding call called the Green Enterprise Innovation for Circular Economy. So firstly, the National Waste Prevention Programme is a Government of Ireland initiative led by the EPA. It was established in 2004 and it's about delivering programmes that stimulate resource efficiency within the circular economy. Last year it underwent a review and now the National Waste Prevention Programme is structured around two pillars, innovation and demonstration being one, and the other is a programme delivering through strategic partnerships. So this funding call is a very key part of the National Waste Prevention Programme, particularly under the innovation and demonstration pillar. The circular economy. In summary, it's about less materials, increasing or maintaining value, changing use and consumption. I'm giving a little bit more detail around the features of what the circular economy are in this technical call description document, and I ask you to encourage you to review that when you're looking at it. Why is this coming up now? Really, the drivers are nearly global. The resources are limited, and as we know, population is growing right around the world, and in particular, the middle classes are growing. So that puts an awful lot more demand on resources and on services. And we're seeing that big shift away from products to for a demand of services. Digital technology is enabling a lot more to be done more efficiently, so that's also proving a driver. And certainly the European Union has seen this and responded to it with a circular economy policy. In 2015, they adopted the EU Circular Economy Action Plan, and that kind of covered the economic cycle rather than just waste. On that action plan, it is now actually complete. So we anticipate and believe that the circular economy will address these national areas of importance such that are set out in EU objectives and targets on resource productivity, climate change and waste. It is the main response to it. It's not an easy transition. This graphic here by Simon O'Rafferty I think, explains it well, that going from the linear economy that we have to a circular economy will involve a huge change. In particular, it will go so far as to changing lifestyles. So it's not just about eco products, it is right through to a systematic change. The circular economy, why is it of interest to you? Really, it is going to deliver a more resilient and competitive Ireland domestic economy, where we're less reliant on imports, and we can transition to that low carbon economy that we're looking for. What it will bring to you and why you should consider it is it will return cost savings. It will open up new markets and employment opportunities. It will bring about new business models, less reliance on imports. It obviously entails waste prevention, lower carbon emissions, and again, it increases resources efficiency. So that's why it's a smart solution to your needs. The fund here is very specific to the circular economy. And our aim is to stimulate an operating environment in Ireland where resource efficiency and the circular economy can thrive. So we're aiming to build Ireland's circular economy capacity. The fund is an annual programme, so each year we release it, and it's a process of application, peer review and grant award on an annual basis. The fund is administered by ourselves in the EPA and the EPA research, and this is a Government of Ireland initiative, and the funding is provided by the Department of Communications, Climate Action and the Environment. The Green Enterprise Innovation for a Circular Economy Fund is simply described here. What we aim and the objectives of the fund is to, as I mentioned earlier, is to enhance that competitiveness and resilience of the Irish economy. We also want to influence and inform policy in this area. We are asking for you to participate by developing sustainable solutions and articulating your results in case studies and demonstrations. The outcomes that we hope to achieve through this fund is having an impact on those EU objectives and targets, and to continue to inform government policy. So what we're saying is, when you develop these solutions or thinking about them, please consider how you would deliver on these objectives and outcomes and communicate those distinctly in your application. Your achievements and results we want to publicise to encourage people to participate and adopt practices as well as inform policies. But they are your achievements and the solutions are yours. The fund, in summary, is worth up to 600,000 for 2019. There is a maximum of 100,000 per grant aid in each for award, but you can apply for less. But it is a de minimis fund, so it's subject to compliance with that. And when we say de minimis fund, it means payments are capped at 200,000 in any 3-year period. Also to note is the projects tend to only be short-lived. They're 18 months. They have to be completed within 24 months. Grant aid is depending on the type of organisation or enterprise you are. So it's between 50 and 95%. Social enterprises get about 95% grant aid, small SMEs are 75%, and the non-SME sector is 50%. Table 2 there breaks it down to the cost categories, and again that's in the technical call description for more details. What we're really looking for is technical solutions, new business models, it's innovation demonstration projects. We are not looking at basic research. We have a research program that has a current call open, and that's for that purpose. We are looking also, we want to be clear that it's not for developing solutions that are required under regulatory means, such as the best available techniques solutions, nor is it for end-of-pipe solutions. This is very much a focus on waste prevention, resource efficiency. And finally, just I suppose to emphasize, to try and where it places, it's a bridge to the commercial, transferable, scalable solution. So that's where we are. We're at the applied side of research, moving towards the commercial end. Now, our target audience, we've given this some thought. We really want to support the circular economy leaders in Ireland, and in particular, value chain collaborations. And this is where we believe that we'll get the most impact and change to come about. So, but boiling that down a little further, our target audience is a collaborative one. We're looking for a collaborative effort between research organisations and enterprises. Now, that said, anyone can apply for the fund. It's just we're looking for that collaborative effort. We think we'll get more return for it. The reasons are research organizations can provide expertise and are very familiar with our Smart Simple process. If you're looking for some support in that way, I would recommend you go to the Knowledge Transfer Ireland website and its funding tool, who have a list of expertise and available in your area. So collaborations also, we believe, will support transferability and scalability of solutions. So to get it out, get it adopted by others, and share in knowledge. However, Smart Simple only allows one organization to make an application. This is a limitation, we know that's there. So we're encouraging the collaborations to be done outside of the system and your agreements to be put in place before you make your application. But your application should detail those collaborations that you have put in place as part of your project. The call scope. We have focused ourselves on the food and material systems. The reason, and not on the areas of energy, mobility, and water systems. There are other funds out there to address those. So in that area of food and material systems, we are focused on 4 thematic areas: construction and demolition waste, plastics, food waste, and resources and raw materials. And specifically in that last area, we're looking at electrical and electronic equipment, textiles, and furniture. Electrical and electronic equipment contain a lot of critical raw materials, and that is why it's in our interest to look at it. The EPA are really looking for solutions in these areas from the market. We don't know the answers to these problems, and we will only support the best and the good quality solutions. We are not going to support everything. In the technical call description document, we've gone into a little bit more detail as to why these areas are of national importance and need your help on, as well as given some potential ideas around it. But as I must emphasize, we're really looking for the market to deliver on the solutions. You know this market and you know what will work. Green Enterprise 2019 timelines. This is very important to understand, that there are deadlines that we cannot negotiate with. First of all, just to say, we have been listening and we have kept the call open for 2 months to encourage that better quality and quantity of applications to the process. But the key date is, deadline for technical queries is the 20th of June. The deadline for submission of applications and the deadline for organisation approval is the 27th of June and the 4th of July, respectively. These are automatic in Smart Simple, and we cannot negotiate around that, nor can we take any information into the process after those deadlines have passed. Information comes through Smart Simple and by no other means. Following the deadlines, the applications that we receive will go into an evaluation process. That period will be between July and September, and I'll talk a little bit about that in another while. And then following that, we will have the board of the EPA will approve the projects that are going to get funding, and we'll have a grant negotiation phase, and then finally successful projects will be awarded in around November, December. So expect to have your project kicking off sometime in early 2020. The application process. We are currently in the pre-application phase. What we ask is you please read the documentation on the Green Enterprise Technical Description and the terms and conditions. They're on our website. They are critical documents. You need to register on Smart Simple in order to use it. EPA user guides and video tutorials are available on our website, and they're very good. Technical queries need to be sent to research@epa.ie. This ensures that they'll be addressed quickly and you'll get your responses. Application. There is a couple of things in the application. There's portal fields on the online smart system that need to be completed. You also need to complete some templates and upload them into the system. That includes an application form, a budget template, and a de minimis declaration. Finally, you must meet the submission and the authorization deadlines. As I said, it's the system that will shut you out. That moves us on to the evaluation panel. Now, once the applications are received, we generally put out each proposal to at least 3 independent evaluators. They will evaluate them remotely and they will score them. Those that achieve or exceed a cutoff score will be forwarded to an overview panel, which will look at the proposals collectively and list them according to recommending for approval. Then they're forwarded to the board of the EPA for approval. Once the board approves it, we go into what we call the negotiation phase, where any outstanding technical queries from the evaluation phase are resolved. And our accountants will also take a close look at the budget, and they may have queries regarding that. The final step of the process is the decision and your grant award. There is offer documentation is issued and an advance payment happens. And then you're on your go. What we found is the application qualities wasn't as well as we hoped in last year. So we are encouraging you to make a good quality application. What we want to emphasize is to make it easy for the evaluators to accept your proposal. So the things to remember is be concise and as clear as possible. Use plain English. 15 pages maximum. We need to get across your message quickly and distinctly to the reviewers. It's important to have clear objectives, measurable where appropriate. The outputs. What is it that you want me to be talking about when I go to others about your project? What will come out of it? Is it a case study or what, or something else? And finally, the outcome. We have indicated the outcomes that we're looking for. Can you give us indicators that it will inform policy or impact on our EU objectives and targets? Is it possible for you to give us recycling rates or benchmarks that will help articulate it? And most importantly, use the templates provided. There's a budget template, a de minimis declaration, there's a work package template, a PERT chart, and a Gantt chart. All of these are there to help make it easy for you to communicate your tasks, your timelines, your milestones and deliverables, and in a way that we can quickly understand and pass and compare. Critically is the evaluation criteria. Please be familiar with them and be aware that these are when you're writing your application. Your proposal will be scored on these. Just to run through them very briefly, the technical quality side of it, again, we've touched on this. Be clear about the objectives in your approach. Use the templates for the work packages and the Gantt chart. Relevance to the call topic areas and the principles of green enterprise. Please specify what topic area you are making your application under. Be clear about how your proposal is innovative. What makes it in the circular economy part of the equation? And how will your proposal overall enhance competitiveness and resilience and stimulate that resource efficiency? Can you answer that question? Scalability and transfer. How relevant is your proposal to other Irish enterprises and outside of Ireland? Bring these things alive. Technical expertise and project management capability are, same as they have been in other years. Detail your expertise, and give us assurance that you have the right team in place. Costing and value for money we have a budget template to support you on that. It's important to note that proposals must attain a minimum of 40% of the maximum score for each criterion. Or else it will not move forward to the second phase of evaluation, which was the overview panel, as I mentioned. Finally, a reminder: a concise, well-written application will make the application process and the evaluation process much easier, and will support you in getting through the process. The grant process. So just to touch on what happens after this application process. As I mentioned, at the end of the application process, there is a grant offer documentation goes out and the advance payment. This then leads on to what we normally have is a kickoff meeting for the project, and then every 6 months there is technical project progress reports and cost statements. At the end of the project, there's a final report, executive summary, and cost statement and end of project questionnaire to be completed. We are looking to disseminate the outputs and the case study, as I said earlier, to get it out, show good practice, and inform policy. So your story will live on and your project should live on after the process has come to an end. And finally, just to say, what are the next steps? So again, review the frequently asked questions on our website, review the call documents. The information is there. Important dates, don't forget, the 20th of June, the 27th of June, and the 4th of July are deadlines, and they must be met. Technical queries come to research@epa.ie, but any other queries are welcome at nwpp@epa.ie. Thank you for your attention and for joining this webinar, and I hope you will find the information useful. It will go online in a few days. I will end the recording now.